Hi there guys, it's Mike from the Jessups Academy team, and today we're having a look at the Alpha 2000 from Feiyutech, so let's open it up and see what's inside. Like the Alpha 1000, you get a really nice carry case, which will just keep this neat and keep all the gimbal stuff together, but it's still small enough to fit into other kit bags. I'm going to quickly open this up. And what you'll find is here in the top compartment, you have your instruction manual. So that's going to be in here, and you'll find the instructions just in there. So we're going to quickly zip that up again. You have the secondary top, which just keeps everything neat once you've unzipped it. So we're going to do that, get our thumb under there, and open it up to find the kit, which is nicely laid out. And you can see you have everything here. So you have two handles. You have the first handle, which is a one-handed handle, much like the Alpha 1000. And you also have the two-handed grip, which, when held this way around, is over here for the controls and over here for the battery. Now, the first thing you need to do is lock this. So that's pushing this way, following that. Lock those down. It can be used on a tripod for time lapses, and there are a couple of magnets here where the handles both fix forward. So the batteries in this one are on the left-hand side. And you use the batteries just here. So the batteries go in like this. And get screwed back in just here. Perfect, so what we're ready for now is the gimbal, but before that I'll just show you some of the other things that are in the box. You have, in this little box here, you have the various connections. So there are several mounting points on the a2000 for peripherals. So this is a cold shoe attachment, as well as some extra nuts for attaching, and you also have a connector cable for connecting two cameras. This allows you to trigger the camera for functions such as time-lapse and other things on the motion controls. There's a little tripod for balancing, and that screws directly into the bottom of the handle. You have the battery charger and USB wire here, and this is charged by a USB like most electronics do now. You have the plate, the screws for which you'll find in that box, with variable mounting points for balancing the camera. I'm going to take that out because we're going to need that in a second. And then the gimbal itself is here, and again, much like the Alpha 1000, it has a restraining cable for keeping it in the correct place whilst in storage or not in use. We have balancing points, you have the locking rings, you have the scales for getting the balance, because once you've got the balance you can write it down or keep a note of it somewhere, and you'll always be able to quickly balance it. If you're using several cameras, you'll find a balancing point here, here, and here. You have the cap here, which has the connections which will connect with the gimbal here. And the connection is lining up these points with these points, and these nuts and these holes make it very easy to do. So now you have the gimbal attached, you are ready to attach the camera with the plate. Now that we have our Alpha 2000 assembled, we have to put a camera on it and we have to balance it. Now we need to do all of this before we turn the gimbal on. You want to get it most of the way so you don't put too much pressure on the motors. So we're going to use a Panasonic GH4. This is a very typical size camera to use in a gimbal this size. This will handle mirrorless and smaller DSLRs with no issue. Just be sure that when you're using a zoom lens, that will change the balance, because when you zoom the lens, you're shifting the weight. So we're going to use this. So we're going to need the plate, and we're going to need the screw. Now the screw comes off from the plate and you have all of these mounting points. The basic point of this is so that you know where the balancing point on your camera is and you can rough it in. You generally want it to be where the main weight of the camera is. So that's usually around about the center, depending which kind of lens you're using. So for here, it's around about here. So I'm going to use the third hole down. So it's balanced near the back. And I'm going to screw that onto the camera. So you'll see the plate covers the bottom of the camera and gives me lots of room for adjustments. Now on to the gimbal. Now the gimbal will be locked in different positions. It can go from here to here. Now you will have to take into account your grip. So that's going to give you a rough idea of where you're going to go anyway. There's a little stopper just here. So I'm going to put this to the end, and that's going to just help me eyeball it in. I'm going to push down this lock and slide the plate on. This lock stops the camera from coming off. And just going to slowly move the camera until it's approximately balanced on that. And once I've got it roughly where I want it, I'm going to tighten both of these. So now the camera can't slide. I'm going to loosen the top and move it so that it can't. So it's just about right, just about there. And that's close enough. The motors will balance the rest. So the mode button is back here, and I just press and hold till you hear the beep. And we are approximately balanced. Now it will still need some fine adjustment, which is just done by pressing, and we're still just a little bit heavy on this side. So we're going to move to there, and as you'll see, we are now balanced, and you can lift the gimbal. And as you see, you can move through the motions and the camera stays completely level. Now this is great for cameras that don't have stabilization. It gives you great cinematic effects, and it's a very comfortable operation because of the two handles. You have control by being able to point the camera down, or you can point the camera vertical, and you've got these controls through the joystick at the back. And you can do that. Now say you've got the camera off to one side and you want to quickly bring it back, you have a trigger just here. 2 taps will bring it back to center. And that's the basic operation of the a2000. You can use the motion controls through the mode buttons, full details of which you can find in the manual. This can do motion time lapses. It can be set to go over a certain period in a certain time in a certain way. And this is just great for time lapses, hyperlapses, things like that. You can plug the camera into the gimbal directly, or you can use the inbuilt time-lapse functions on the camera that you're using if it has it. Now, if you'd like any more information on the a2000 or any of the other Feiyutech gimbals, you can do so at jessops.com or by visiting any one of our stores. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give us a like. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.